Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our channel, Francis to Elementary Schools. And for now, today we're gonna podcast for this morning. So enjoy at the moment during podcast and stay tuned on our channels. Yeah. Okay. Good. How are you today, student? And good morning everyone. Sorry. I hope all of you always happy and always good condition, yeah. Okay, hello Mr. Sarono, how are you today?
Fine, Mr. Agung. We are
Okay.
happy.
I'm
Can
very
join in
happy.
this my first podcast.
Okay,
too.
my first podcast, yeah. I'm very happy and nervous maybe, yeah. Okay, and today we have two source from the teacher ELC. But today, before we start our podcast, we stand up to sing this Indonesian anthem and Franciscus Magnanimus. So the first Indonesian anthem we sing.
Well, we invite you.
Invite
All
you to-
kids stand as the opening this podcast. We are going to have Indonesian anthem and Franciscus Magnanimus.
Indonesia meneribus jiwa besar dalam selam berpegang teguh kepada Tuhan, hidup dalam kesederhanaan, ciptakan persaudaraan untuk membela kehidupan. Cinta kasih Allah penuh kerahiman tetap menjadi dayaku. Fransiskus meneribus, Fransiskus meneribus, Fransiskus meneribus, Fransiskus
Okay, we back again in our channel. So, tabi pun. Ya pun. Salam Fransiskus berjiwa besar. Today it's a special day because we following the podcast in SD Fransiskus to Rawa Bandar Lampung, and me, Mr. Agung, and Mr. Sarono, we will guide the activities from the beginning to the end of today's podcast. So, Mr. Sarono,
Yeah.
would you tell me about the title for today?
Well, as we can read on the flyer, I'd like to explain the purpose of our podcast.
Yeah.
Starting from the first or single word fun.
Fun.
Fun is a basic condition for learning to get the maximal result, I suppose. So, in this moment, we can reflect. This moment, we can reflect whether you or us feel fun, get happiness, joy, or pleasure when we are learning, especially in learning English. If not, make this podcast as bridge. Make this podcast as a channel to reach the idea, to be fun. And finally, we have a very incredible sources today to motivate us learning English. Finally, I'd like to conclude the purpose of this podcast is how to improve our self-confidence. Are you agree with this idea, dear friends? Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. And please welcome our certified teachers in their field from ELC, Miss Marcelet and Mr. Trey. Good morning.
Good morning,
Mr. Trey and Miss Marcelet.
How are you today, Mr. and Miss Trey? Mr. Trey and Miss Marcel?
Fantastic. Thank
Fantastic. How about you, Miss?
Oh, I'm supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, meaning I'm wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay. Good. Thank you, Miss. So, before we start, can I tell you about curriculum vitae from Miss Marcelet and Mr. Trey? Okay. We see from the curriculum vitae. Okay, Fransiva family, we have both heard the CV of both great source. Kita sudah melihat riwayat pekerjaan dari Miss Marcelet and Mr. Trey. So today, Mr. Sarono, we
Yeah,
accompanied student. The name is Valeria Gita from 6th grade.
With
Yeah.
us there is a beautiful, a
Beautiful.
pretty girl. Yeah, name Gita.
Gita.
Mr. Trey and Miss Marslet, we'd like introduce our student Gita. Hi Gita.
Hello Gita.
How are you?
Hello.
How are you? Gita?
Hi.
I am doing just fine. Thank you for asking.
Well, at least Gita, you can introduce yourself or might have one or two questions for our guests. It's time for you, Gita.
Introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Valeria Gita. People usually call me Gita. I am 11 years old and I really love to draw. I also like to play games, especially rhythm games and RPG games. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gita.
Okay.
What do you feel when you meet Mr. Trey here?
I am very happy and also at the same time very nervous.
Nervous and proud.
Same like me.
Because the opportunity to
Don't
have
be.
such activity, yeah?
Nothing to worry about. Boulets are just like any other people.
Don't be nervous.
It will be amazing experience. How could Miss Marslet and Mr. Trey make the nervous girl when coming here to be bloom like beautiful flower, yeah? It's a very fantastic change. How I can see Gita make her round smile right now. Okay, Mr. Agung, you
Okay,
might.
this is Valeria Gita, sir, Miss, from 6th grade. And then, can you, Mr. Sarono, can you ask Miss Valeria Gita when you learning English?
I started learning English when I was around 3 years old.
3 years old. Wow.
And that time I couldn't speak in both Indonesian or English and I was self-taught at that time.
Okay, so
Next, we are going to discuss some topics, and we have some questions for them. Our expert will motivate us, share their personal experience, go around the world. I don't know which one is the interesting to talk about. You may choose one of any topic. If you want to listen any stories or their personal sharing. Okay.
can I ask Miss Marslet maybe for the first time?
Yes, of course.
For the question number 1, how to motivate your student with learning English maybe? Can you explain how to motivate?
Okay, meaning what you mean is how to motivate students to speak English without fear. Because most of the students, they can speak, but they are ashamed or they are just don't know what to say, or they cannot express their feelings because they have limited vocabulary maybe. So in order to motivate them to speak, first and foremost, you have, as a teacher, we have to establish what we call a good rapport to the students, right? Good rapport means having a sense of connection between teacher and students. Okay, or we create a bond together. So if I have already established a good rapport to my students, then I can gain their trust. So I can be their confidant. They can tell me whatever they want to say, and that's the time that they can open up and they can speak English. And that's when I will enter and do my job as a teacher and let them speak with confidence.
The connection start from this word. How can she make in the first week the connection going well. Please tell me something about, is it a
Yeah.
secret thing?
Yeah. Oh, since that this week is my first week teaching here in this school, and I'm establishing my connection to the students.
Huh?
So I just pick some random topics and then talk with them and play a game related to our lesson, and then I just give them some learning fun, because I want
Uh-huh.
to inculcate in their minds that learning
Great.
English is not difficult, it's easy and fun. So on the first part of my class is I introduce myself, and I let the students introduce themselves also. And then after that, we play a game related to our lesson. And after playing the game, we will do the activity related to the game. And then I teach them songs, which they really like and they really love. Yeah, because I ask them, do you like the song? Yes, me, yes, we like the song. So that's where I am establishing a connection between me and my students, singing a song, dancing, playing games, and doing the activity, and talking to them one by one. Yeah, that is my way of establishing a connection or a bond to my students.
Well, we saw and we feel during this first week, Mr. Trey. Yeah, it's informed because we hope one day Mr. Trey,
Miss,
Mr. Trey will enter one or two grade here and say
Yes,
something.
I'm really looking forward to that.
We are waiting for you to combine any idea like this, yeah? By the way, before we continue in the next discussion, we are going to inform some parents that ELC is our partner. We have been collaborating since last year, but this March, this year, we've been starting the real class, not online class.
The real
And
class.
Miss Marslet is
teacher.
ELC teacher in Franciscus to Pahoman, yeah? That's all,
Okay.
Mr. Agung.
Yeah.
We may go on next
Okay.
question.
I think I can ask Mr. Trey
Yeah.
about how to motivate, like the same question Miss Marslet, how to motivate to learning English.
Okay, so Miss Marcellus pointed out many of the most important highlights of that, such as, to summarize, making the activities fun and interesting and connecting with the students. And I think that the way we do that is dependent on the age of the learner. So, for example, with the kindergarten and elementary students,
Kindergarten.
games, songs, and also in the high school, games as well, but just more age appropriate for the older students, and a lot more topics that are interesting to them. And whereas with the younger children, just high-fiving and praising them is usually enough for instant rapport. On the other hand, with the older students, it takes a little more time sometimes, and it's a matter of getting to know them, letting them see that you're interested in them, and open up to them. However, I've found in Bandar Lampung that even the older students are extremely friendly and easy to approach, and I've found it's been very helpful here to capitalize on their interest in and curiosity about foreigners while at the same time expressing an interest in them and being a friend but making sure it's on a professional level at the same time.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Frey.
Mr. Frey.
Let me translate the basic information for young learner. Is it necessary when we translate into bahasa Indonesia?
Translate to
Bahwa
bahasa
Mr.
Indonesia.
Trey melihat sebuah sesuatu yang luar biasa dari pelajar yang sudah dijumpai di Bandar Lampung, yaitu ya memang sebuah keingintahuan yang menunjukkan bahwa anak-anak itu bisa berkembang menjadi seorang yang memang profesional. Anak-anak bisa berkembang maju dengan modalitas yang sudah dilihat oleh Mr. Trey, ya, khususnya anak-anak yang sudah dijumpai oleh mereka, ya. Next, during the first week, I trust that Miss Marslet have found particular technique. Which one is urgent? Which one must be going first in this school? By making any connection, some experience in various classes, in this first week, you may advise or will suggest us how we have to learn from the beginning in this week, yeah, starting the experience. What kinds of technique we are going to, yeah, techniques in learning or practicing or anything else you suggest you as an urgent way, yeah, the best way we could try.
Okay, so far, because this is my first week and I'm establishing rapport to students, so
You analyze a very
this week I just use 3 techniques.
yeah.
Yeah,
Technique.
3 techniques.
Oh,
I
three.
just free talk,
Top,
yeah, free talk, and a random topic,
In a random
and
topic.
then I do the singing.
Singing, yeah.
Yeah,
Like you
always
teach
singing,
in the class.
and as well as playing games.
Playing
As what I
games.
have said a while ago, that
Ah.
I always put some games on my class so that they to tingle the excitement on my students, because they're kids. They really want to play. So I ask them, "Oh, who wants to play?" And they're all say, "Yes, miss, we want to play." So I always put some games in my lesson. Yeah, I integrate it with my class. Okay, and then I let them introduce themselves and getting to know each other, something like that. And I let them talk freely about themselves, just like what they want to do, what are the things that they like to do, and what are the things that they want to say or ask me, something like that, right? It happens in our class. She is my student, yeah. So I let them talk. First, they introduce their names, and then I ask them, what are the things that you like to do? So they are talking, yeah, because the topic is very easy, and they can talk freely.
Yeah.
So they can talk whatever they can say whatever they want to say, so they're not afraid. Oh, I like to ride on a bicycle. I love drawing very much. I like singing, miss. Me, I like swimming. So they can freely express their thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that kind of style that you can tell me all the things that you like. So the students are very excited to tell me all the things that they want to do, because I give them example. So before you introduce yourselves and then tell me all the things that you like, I will first tell you the things that I like to do.
Okay.
So that's what I did. So I told them that, oh, I like cooking, I like shopping, I like unplanned road trips, I like eating and reading books, playing a guitar and singing. But most of all, I told them, I like sleeping. Yes, miss, me too.
Yeah.
I like
Me
sleeping.
too. I
Yeah,
like
and they're
sleeping.
all excited. Miss, me too. I like sleeping also.
Oh, student maybe.
See, they are all excited to tell me, and they
Yeah.
cannot wait for their turn to introduce and tell me what they want to do, because I have already given them example, and I freely told them all the things that I like. So the students are all excited. So that's what I did this
Okay.
week.
Thank you very much, Miss Marslet. Anak-anak, dengan demikian Pak Guru punya saran. Dengan melihat cara Miss Marslet mengajak kalian bersenang-senang, tidak ada salahnya. Ketawa ya ketawa, bersenang-senang ya bersenang-senanglah. Menyanyi ya bernyanyilah. Bermain, bermainlah. Itu memang diminta, memang diajak oleh Miss Marslet. Demikian, supaya kalian merasa bebas. Ya, tidak ada salah ya. Dengan perasaan senang itu Miss Marslet ingin kalian merasa bebas. Dalam topik-topik yang dipilihnya secara acak, di kelas kalian itu tidak ingin mengajak kalian ngomong salah, ini tidak boleh begitu. Justru disitulah kalian diajak untuk merasa senang, merasa bebas, tidak terbebani. Ini penjelasan yang Pak Guru minta supaya kalian menggunakan waktu itu dengan baik. Jangan diajak bersenang-senang, kalian mengambil topik yang lain tidak ada hubungannya dengan ajakan Miss Marslet. Jadi ini penting, ketika kalian diajak bersenang-senang, nikmati, bergabung, karena disitulah kamu akan mendapatkan cara belajar yang dimaksud oleh Miss Marslet. Apakah ada tambahan dari Mr. Trey? Do you want?
Okay,
Get something.
certainly. So, as far as the primary levels are concerned, I've pretty much done about the same thing that Miss Marcellus has done, and just in addition, I've added, when it matches the topic, when there's been a set topic outside of the introduction. So the introduction is my preferred method for the first week, but when I've been substituting and already had a set topic to address, just adapting games and songs and other interesting video materials from the internet in the classroom, barring any technical difficulties within that class. And just, I've also found that, you know, in the lower levels of the primary or elementary school, it's pretty much across the boards. All the students are very eager and talkative, and, or most, not all, but most, but as they go higher up in age, it starts to vary student to student and class to class for their level of responsiveness. So in that case, in the Getting to Know You class, I have a lot of students that are happy to just spend the whole first lesson asking me many questions that they're curious to know, especially about boules. And then somewhere in between that, there are some that I need to get them going by asking them a lot of questions about themselves first, and then they begin to open up more. Then there are others that need to be prompted, to be encouraged, and build their confidence by speaking with their peers first before they're ready to try to speak to their teachers. And in the SMA, especially this week, I've done a combination of online grammar games and also a mingle game where I have some
In classical?
yes, where I have some conversations to To answer up on the screen, I'm also playing music to make it more fun and interesting, and they're going around the classroom until the music stops,
Yeah.
and
Is it
then
in single class or around class in parallel?
around the classroom, inside the
around
class.
class.
Sometimes I have to get them to rearrange their desks so they have space to move, but then they just stop, and whoever they're near, they stop and ask and answer the questions with that person, and then repeat the process and scroll down on the questions a bit, and that helps them develop their confidence not only in speaking English, but in speaking to other people besides their best friend. And then after that, they open up and they eventually have the confidence to speak to a bule also.
And you can combine and mix.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure.
In some cases, one or two students are not pay attention much. He attack or interrupt the situation. Yeah, we might find these cases. Yeah, based in your own experience, how we should respond when we found this situation. One or two students don't pay attention, but interrupt or attack others. One day we are going to meet this situation. Any suggestion?
Can I speak first?
Okay.
Yeah,
please.
I always experience something like that, that there's always a student that needs attention, right? They are called attention seekers. Yeah, that is why they're making something unusual so that the teacher can, so that they can get the attention of the teacher. So what I did is, I'm always doing this. Every time we have an activity or we are going to play or something, so that student, that kind of student, I'll give him or her the task to be the leader. Yeah. Yeah, so that I can satisfy his needs of what the attention that he needs. So I assign him as a leader, and he's very happy because he's the leader. So
Would
he
you
cannot
accept
disturb.
this
It's
if you
effective,
have
right?
some
It's
experience?
effective, right?
Will you accept this?
Not
No,
really.
because you're the good
Not
one.
in your class, but in most of the classes.
Yes.
Yeah, I give them the task to be
Yeah.
the leader, or I give them some task. Oh, they think that it's really important task, but
Yeah.
actually it's not. But I just recognize them. Okay, I will give you as a police officer, so you have to watch your classmates. Oh, he is now the police officer of the class. So he's watching his classmate. If somebody is not listening, miss, he's not listening. Oh, see, he's now the one watching his classmates. So you are the police officer. So I give him the role of that being a police officer so that he will not disturb his classmates.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
thank you.
what I'm doing.
It's great
Something
idea.
like that.
Any
Technique.
idea to share about
Oh,
this?
okay, yes. So Ms. Marcellus has a really great idea about appointing the attention seekers as class police, and I personally like that strategy as well, and I've used that throughout my career. And so additionally, I'd like to address the other side of that issue, which is students that are actually off task for other reasons. And so my first step is to whichever students are off task, I'll call on them to answer the questions so that their focus will be redirected back to the aims of the lesson. And then if necessary, then my next step, if there are 2 or more students off task and or disruptive, is to separate them so that they'll no longer have the means to be off task together.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you for the idea. Okay, Gita, can you ask Mr. Trey or Mr.
Do you
Miss
have
Marcel? Do you have any
Any
question?
question about your learning?
About your
Addressing?
learning?
Can I ask Miss Mars,
Okay.
how do you deal with introvert students?
That's a good question, how to deal with introvert students. Oh, there are so many students who are like that in my class. So first, we have to help them build self-confidence. Okay, so by building self-confidence, we don't need to force them to talk or speak. Instead, find some questions that they can answer. Yeah. We have to find some questions according to their level so that they can answer and just gain their trust, something like that. And maybe boost their morale by appreciating and praising them, even in a little things or in a little way that they did. So we have to give them say something which is very encouraging, just like saying good job, good job. So that's a big thing for those kind of students. Yeah,
agree.
in order to boost their morale. So that's it. And we have to give them constructive comments, not destructive, but constructive comments, so that they will try again to speak next time, because Miss Marcela said that I'm very good, so I will try to speak again, something like that. But we will not force them to speak. Instead, we will give them question that they cannot say no. Yeah, we have as teachers, we have different ways of asking students that they cannot say no. They will think of something. Oh, I have to answer this one. You can answer me yes or no. Yes, miss. And then that's the start where they are opening already to you and they're answering, but they didn't what you call this notice that they are already speaking. So that is my strategy on how to deal with introvert students. And and do not treat them differently. Just treat them as normal students. Yeah, treat them as normal students. And you have to create a very light atmosphere inside the classroom where they feel at ease and where they feel free that I can talk with this teacher. So just make the environment or the atmosphere inside the class very light, so that they can feel that they can talk or say something to the teacher. And we have to ask random questions which they can relate, because mostly students cannot answer us because the questions are too high for them. They cannot relate. So they have nothing to say at all. So in order to let them speak, we have to think of a topic which is they can relate, so that they can answer. Okay, you can answer me in Bahasa if you cannot speak English. Yeah, so I'm saying like that. So he can say something because he can relate to the question.
Simplify.
Yeah. We don't need. We have to simplify the question so that
Yeah, I
everybody
see.
can relate. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that I'm doing, or how I deal with introvert students.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Marsles. You describe all the question with long answer and complete. Yeah.
I hope that I answer your question.
Ya.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oke, sebagai bocoran saja, tadi kita itu begitu tegangnya, begitu cerita, Mr. Trey sudah suka sekali bika Lampung, akhirnya kita pun sudah mulai tersenyum ya. Ternyata Gita ternyata suka membantu membuat hal-hal seperti itu sepertinya ya. Hal menarik, hal yang rahasia, saya katakan langsung bahwa Mr. Trey itu paling senior di antara guru-guru, bahkan guru-guru bahasa Inggris yang ada di sini. Banyak negara sudah dia kunjungi, banyak pengalaman bisa dia ceritakan, termasuk dari zaman yang paling jadul katanya. Dia belajar dari zaman dia membuka kamus juga sangat sulit, sampai sekarang zamannya tinggal tweet ukuran detik. Nah, ini topik bagi kalian yang paling menarik, maka saya beri penegasan dulu sebelum saya bertanya. Karena apa? This is your real experience, pengalamanmu yang nyata. Orang tuamu marah ya. Karena apa? Karena teknologi. Padahal kita harusnya tahu membedakan dan bagaimana menggunakannya. Here is, ya. Betul tidak, Mr. Trey? This is about nowadays students, yeah? Today's kids, they can learn fast with technology, but sometimes most parents suffer, complain, because sometimes they think, I don't think so, that this technology will program my children to be a lazy boy, a lazy person. Yeah? But why I must angry with them? Can it explain by your experience how this technology can empower them in learning, especially learning English? Based on your personal experience, we'd like to hear that.
Okay, so I'm in kind of a unique position where I grew up being educated without all the technology,
Okay.
sometimes even having to write 5-page, 10-page compositions by hand,
5 days.
research from real encyclopedias and other reference books with no internet available, having to find my direction with real maps and sometimes even with a real compass. And on the other hand, I've spent years educating others as the technology has continued to evolve. And so, in my personal experience and opinion, I find the technology itself to be a two-edged sword. It can cut both ways. It's neither intrinsically good or bad. It all depends how we use it. So I think the key, number one, is to keep the technology focused on the aims and the goals of what we're trying to achieve educationally and academically. And number two is to control it and not let it control us, and use it without becoming dependent on it. And just consider the fact that if all that technology is taken away from us for whatever reason, we can still function without it. And so the other thing to remember is, especially with Google Translate in particular, now there are times when Google Translate can serve a necessary and valuable function, but I've found that those times and places are not in academic and educational settings, because firstly, the translations are not necessarily correct.
Yeah.
So I've had instances where I've assigned students writing projects, and then I've read them, and they were obviously typed or spoken directly into Google, translated and copied, and the translations were often completely nonsensical.
I see.
And the other thing is that in reading and listening skills, it is very important, critical, to be able to learn vocabulary from context.
Yeah.
And when we become dependent on Google to translate or to understand the meaning of the words, we cripple ourselves academically in terms of denying ourselves the development of those vital skills for both academic and personal success.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Mr.
much, Mr.
Ray. So that transformation education, technology is necessary. Remember, with the function and sense. That's the main point. Ya, ada beberapa hal tadi yang diingatkan, itu mutlak dibutuhkan sebuah kecepatan, tetapi bagaimana skillmu itu harus dimaksimalkan dan sense harus tetap hidup, ya digunakan secara proporsional. Itu menjadi bagian yang sangat penting. Masih adakah bagian yang belum kita diskusikan, yang ingin kita tanyakan? Sebenarnya ratusan, tapi
Ya.
tidak mungkin ya, kita
Because
pilih
the time
beberapa
is
saja
limited.
ya.
Karena
Karena waktunya tinggal terbatas,
sedikit lagi,
maka
ya.
setidaknya kalau Pak Agung tidak ada, saya masih menyimpan sesuatu yang ingin saya tanyakan.
What
Ya.
question?
In the early of the collaboration, Sister Pauli, our foundation principal, stated kind of enrichment program. Enrichment Franciscus, ya. Name enrichment. I remember that Indonesia, our place have hundreds of language and culture. People so proud with this culture. Maybe one or two worry. If we are learning English, we'll replace our local language or something else. And positive thinking and kind of you have positive energy can have different idea, learning different language, learning English. How would you describe the situation for any negative of point? Yeah, will English replace my local language, or can we take the advantage? We learn more language. Would you mind describing at the last topic for us?
Okay.
Start from Miss
I-
Marcelet. Okay.
Yeah, I want to answer your question.
Okay.
Learning English is not
It's not difficult.
is not what you call that. It's not really that hard, but and learning English, learning how to speak English, I mean, doesn't mean that you are going to replace your native language. Your native language is your native language, and you must be proud of it. And I know Indonesians are very proud of their language, their bahasa, right? But to learn how to speak English, it doesn't mean that you're going to replace it with English, and you will not use the bahasa anymore because you're using English. No, no, it's not. It's not that. It's not the point. The point is, you are just adding another language to your native language, but your native language will remain as your native language because I know Indonesians give value to their culture and tradition,
culture
right?
and local language,
Yeah,
yeah.
and your local language is very important to you. So you will, it's your own language. Nobody can take it away from you. So we'll just preserve your own language and use it, and then you add it with English language because,
sir.
you know, nowadays, all nations or countries must be globally competitive. When I say globally competitive, the people
Global mind.
should be globally competitive, that when you go out of your country, you can compete with other people in
that's
different
right.
countries.
Yeah.
And most of them are English speakers, right, Mr. Trey?
I
So
agree.
in order for you to be globally competitive, so you have to learn how to speak English. But it doesn't mean that you will forget about your native language. Just like me, I am from the Philippines and I'm proud of my language. I'm proud of being a Filipino, and I am using Tagalog and my own dialect because we have also different kinds of languages or dialects in our country. But I'm using English to be globally competitive. That is why I'm here now in Indonesia.
I see. Yeah.
I'm working here as a teacher. So, but I never forget about my own language, which is Tagalog, and I'm very proud of it. So, do not think that if you're going to learn English, you will neglect
Forget or replace,
your own language. No, you are adding another language to your own language to be globally competitive, so that you, when you go out of your country, everybody can understand you and you can understand everybody, because most people around the world are speaking English.
Yeah.
Okay, did I
Thank
answer
you
your question?
so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the answer. Okay, Mr. Trey, you can answer this question.
Oh,
Mr. Sarana.
okay, so, right, being globally competitive is absolutely a must if we want to advance as far as we can in the world. And certainly the concerns are understandable given countless historical precedent of both linguistic and cultural genocide, but it also doesn't necessarily have to be the case, and it in Indonesia is a great example of where it hasn't been. Even the Dutch couldn't stop the Indonesian language and culture. And so just a couple of examples of where it's extremely helpful. The first one is a friend and student of mine from Vietnam who is, he's now the head of his department at Hanoi Medical University, and he is also the assistant director of one of the biggest hospitals in Hanoi. So obviously he does all his business in English, in Vietnamese with local Vietnamese patients, but he also recognized the importance of learning English. He actually reached out to me and asked me to teach him medical English. And as his English skills evolved, he went from being one of the leading specialists in his field in Vietnam to being one of the leading specialists in the world in his field. He now travels the globe presenting seminars in English after improving not only his general English but also his pronunciation of long and difficult medical English words and phrases, and also his English presentation skills. And of course, our own sister Pauline, right, who broadened her horizons by studying in the United States.
I see.
And neither of them gave up their own language and culture to do so, but to the contrary, are examples and pillars of their respective cultures.
Thank you so much, dearest minister and dedicated institution. Here we are. Hear the sound of our soul that we are signing together. Anak-anak, itu orang lain yang ngomong. Belanda berapa puluh tahun, bahkan ratusan tahun, Indonesia tetap menjadi Indonesia, bahasa daerah tetap bahasa daerah. Itu orang luar yang bicara. Itu adalah poin terpenting. Menambah belajar bahasa, memperkaya Indonesia sendiri. Tidak ada yang hilang, bahkan semakin dikenal. Indonesia jati dirinya sudah dibuktikan. Berapa tahun Belanda di sini, Indonesia tetap Indonesia, bahasa Jawa tetap bahasa Jawa, Batak tetap Batak. Tidak perlu dikhawatirkan. Dan semua tetap perlu diperhatikan. Guru bahasa Inggris, guru bahasa daerah, semuanya bersinar bersama teman-teman dari Asia, dari Amerika. Thanks for watching. Don't be lazy in learning. Thank you so much, Mr. Trey.
Okay, thank you so
Miss
much.
Marslet. Gita, it's
Mr.
nice
Sarano.
you are here.
Mr. Sarno,
Yeah?
teacher taught me Miss Marslet like a singing. So can I request one song
as
maybe?
an ending podcast.
Yeah, the last
We
podcast.
have
You
a
have
Philippine
singing.
singer.
Yeah.
Please welcome.
Please welcome Miss Marslet with Mr. Wawan.
Okay.
I'm not a good singer,
It's
but
okay.
I will try my best.
Okay, I will play
Okay,
guitar for
can you
you.
stand
Mr.
up maybe?
Trey,
Okay.
would you
Can you
accompany
stand up?
her?
Can you featuring?
What
with
song
Miss
do you
Marslet?
want to sing?
Oh,
The
I
thing
want
is
to sing the
Westlife.
favorite song,
Okay.
the favorite song of Sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Request
She
from
requested
sister.
me to sing this song.
I have a dream. Okay.
The song is I Have a Dream.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm sorry I cannot join there because I use blue shirt. I will be disappear in the green screen. I will
Okay,
accompany you.
maybe
Okay.
Gita can
Would you
join
join?
us.
Okay.
Would you join? Okay.
Okay, Gita, can you join with make your microphone.
I have a dream, a song to sing, to help me cope with anything. If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I'll cross the stream. I have a dream. I have a dream, a fantasy to help me through reality. And my destination, make it worth the while, pushing through the darkness, still another mile. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I'll cross the stream. I have a dream. I'll cross the stream. I have a dream.
Okay, give applause to Miss Marcelet, Mr. Trey to sing us out. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sister, your request sudah dinyanyikan. Okay, because the time on podcast is enough. Thank you so much, student, everyone, to see in YouTube SD Franciscus 2 and me, Mr. Agung, and Mr. Sarono, Miss Marcelet, and Mr. Trey.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Pamit undur diri. See you on podcast, the next podcast. And salam Franciscus. Bye bye semuanya. Thank
Bye
you.
everyone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.